Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for clicking on my video and choosing to watch. My name is June Jefferson, and I want to talk about MCM bags. So, a little bit about myself. I've always been a purse person. I've been looking on YouTube for videos about MCM bags, and I saw that there weren't too many. So I thought it might be fun to make a video and talk about and share my bags and the stories about how I came to have them in my life. So about 6 years ago, that would be 2014, I decided that I wanted to make a change in my handbags that I carry. I've always been a purse person, and I've carried everything from the cute bag from Ross or Marshalls, from Guess, Baby Fat, knockoff Fendi, worked my way up to Dooney and Burke and Coach, Michael Kors, Big Buddha, all different kinds of purses. I've carried them. But what I came to realize in my lifestyle is I began to take on more of a minimalistic approach and making sure that I actually wear all of the clothes that I own and not just have a whole bunch of excess. I decided that my handbags should also reflect that as well. And I realized that when I was carrying the other purses, when I was done with them, when I decided I didn't want them anymore, there wasn't too much I could do with it other than donate it to Goodwill. In 2014, the resale apps that are really popular now, like Let Go, Tradesy, Poshmark, those didn't really exist back then. And if they did, then they weren't very popular like they are now. So I realized that I was tired of throwing my money away on purses that I couldn't really do anything with once I was done with them. So I decided that I wanted to invest more in my bags, and once I decided that, then it was like, well, then what brand do I choose? So 6 years ago, I was commuting back and forth to work in San Francisco, about an hour and a half each way. And I just started paying more attention to people and the bags that they carry. I used to take public transportation, BART and Muni, so I had plenty of people to observe. So the ones that I would notice the most were Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Longchamp, Celine, and that's just to name a few. Those are the ones I would see the most often. Every now and again I would see an MCM bag, but not very often. And because I wasn't seeing it that often, that's what actually made me more curious about it. So I started Googling and doing my research, and I found out that MCM, the brand, has actually been around quite a long time. And it has some history in hip hop culture, which that's part of my life. So I was like, oh, okay. Actually, even back in the 80s, there was a designer, Dapper Dan, in New York, and he used to take the Gucci prints, the Louis Vuitton prints, the MCM prints, and he would make custom clothes for hip-hop artists back in that day. And now he's a freaking designer for Gucci, so that's just awesome. So I was like, oh, okay, so it has some roots in hip-hop. I'm feeling that. And then the brand itself, I don't know how much you guys know about it, but if you don't know, here's a quick little Cliff's Notes version of things that I've learned. The original meaning for MCM stood for Michael Kromer Munich, as in Munich, Germany, because that's where Michael Kromer was from. And it actually started out more as a travel lifestyle brand. So they mostly would come out with suitcases and trunks and duffel bags, that type of thing. And then eventually it became purses and handbags and backpacks and stuff like that. So, oh, and also the brand, the MCM, and then it has the black diamond. It also has the ribbon laurel leaves, and the ribbon laurel leaves are actually a Greek symbol for victory. And then also MCM, if you translate it into Roman numerals, it breaks down, for all the numerology people, it breaks down into the number 1. So I was like, okay, black diamonds, victory, number 1. I really like the caramel camel tan color that I see, or that the bags that I saw would come in. So I was like, okay, like I'm feeling this brand and I like it. So, oh, and another thing that I actually just found out really recently, like within the last month or so, is that the current owner of MCM is Korean, and her name is Kim Sung-ju. And her story, her backstory of how she came up and was able to eventually buy MCM is amazing. And it just made me like the brand even more. So that was awesome to find out. But yeah, I like the idea of buying a bag that's gonna be worth something should I choose to not want it anymore or want to do something with it, leave it to my kids. I don't know. Just I like that idea much better than just spending $200-300 on a bag and then not really being able to recoup too much. So I guess I'll go into the story of once I decided that it was going to be MCM, I started going on their website and looking at their bags, and I really, really, really wanted one. So I'll tell you the story of getting my first bag, which here it is in its dust bag. It was actually on a Black Friday weekend around Thanksgiving, so I did get a good sale. The bag was originally $600 and I ended up getting it for $525. So I'll show it to you here in a second and go over its details with you. But I will say that after ordering it and it getting delivered a couple of days later, the presentation of the package, opening that cardboard box, was very impressive. It left a really big impression on me. It was packaged with such care and detail that you can just tell that MCM really cares about the impression that you as a consumer is going to take away from ordering this really expensive bag. And that really meant a lot to me. And it's just like, you know, once you get treated nice, or you realize that there's a nicer way to be treated about things, such as online ordering, it's hard to go back to crap after that. So yeah, that was really, really nice. And I liked that feeling. So yeah, here's the bag. Again, with the MCM letters. And actually, since the new owner, Kim Sung-ju, took over, so the MCM now stands for Modern Creation Munich. And I don't know if you guys know Misa Hilton. She's a pretty big deal in the hip-hop world. You should look her up, follow her on IG. She is actually the MCM brand ambassador for the United States. And they've totally revamped so much since the new owner. And I think that's why you're seeing MCM more and more now, because it's popular again. It's on the rise. They're like opening flagship stores again everywhere, like Tokyo. I know they just opened one in Beverly Hills not too long ago. They have a flagship in San Francisco. It's MCM Worldwide for real. So anyways, here's the bag. The classic Visetos print. And when I found this bag on that Black Friday weekend, it was actually in the men's section on the website. They considered this a man's bag, but it's not very big, as you can see. So I figured I like it. It's something I can afford right now to get my first MCM bag. And I have enough yang energy that I felt like I could pull this off. So I went ahead and ordered it. So here's the bag. It has the shoulder strap. The shoulder strap is adjustable. It has the logo plate in silver on this one. And they call this bag the Visetos Messenger Flap bag. So let me go ahead and measure it for you. For those of you that have never seen this bag before, or maybe you already are familiar with it, I don't know. But either way, I just want to give the details so that anyone watching this can be informed. So it is 12 inches across. And then from top to bottom, it is just about 9.5 inches tall. As far as depth, it's not a big bag. So it's only about, you can see, let me get a better angle. It's only about 3 inches wide. This is really awkward to hold. 3 inches wide. MCM is really detailed in their craftsmanship of how they make their bags. So the details are there. Also, I think for authenticity purposes. So if you can catch this on the camera, it has the MCM stamped into the side. And it's even on the little logo buckles on the front. So this bag opens with the snap. 2 snaps. Open it up. You can see it has the 2 pockets on the side and then the zippered pocket in the back. The inside of this bag is actually like a dark gray color. It has that logo plate against the back. And that pocket in the back, the zipper one, is actually really deep. As you can tell, like, my hand goes all the way in. And then the bag space, which again is not very big. But then also on the handy side, on the outside of the bag, on the back, it does have an extra pocket that snaps shut as well with a magnetic snap. So you've got the pocket on the outside for that outside access that you might need for like your phone and those things you just want to grab quickly. So funny story about this. I got it and I was so thrilled to have it. But like I said, 6 years ago, I was commuting to San Francisco and this purse wasn't big enough to carry all the things that I needed to carry with me on a work week basis. So only after like a week of carrying it and realizing it didn't fit all the things that I needed, it didn't even get carried that much. I actually went back to carrying this Steve Madden bag that I had at the time because it was big enough to hold my stuff and it was comfortable to carry. So I only carried this one like on the weekends or if we were going someplace that didn't require me to have my whole life with me in my purse. So yeah, so it ended up sitting around more than it got carried. And as I mentioned before, I like to make sure that I'm using all of the things that I have. So a couple of years into having it, I was like, okay, well, I'm not carrying it, so let me see what I can do with it. So I ended up selling it to there's a website called The Real Real, and they will sell your bag on consignment for you. They take a lot of luxury brands. So I sent this into them for them to sell it for me on consignment. And that was that. So about 2 years later, I had an upcoming Disneyland trip actually, and I needed a smaller bag to carry. And I wasn't even thinking about this one anymore because I had considered it gone. But I was just poking around. I went to the Real Real website and there it was sitting there. And I was like, oh yeah, my bag. Now I actually have a use for it. So I ended up buying it back. So originally on the MCM website, it was $600. I got it on Black Friday weekend on sale for $525. And then bought it back from the Real on consignment for $4.75. So it's back with me. I'll never sell it again. I've learned my lesson about if I'm gonna have a collection of bags, then what is the point of the collection if I'm just like not keeping it a collection? I don't know. That might change in the future, but this is my first bag, and I realize the sentimental value in that, if you will. So this one is definitely not going anywhere. So yeah, that's my story of this MCM bag. And in my next video, I look forward to sharing the second bag that I have in my collection. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And until then, stay safe and stay stunning.